What's up YouTube, Gemini Johnny back again with another compilation of some of the wildest TikTok conspiracy theories I can find. If you missed my video that dropped on Sunday, we started a new series where we're doing a deep dive on conspiracy theories. In this first episode, we talked about the history, how it's been used against us, as well as touched on a few tips for how to be a more responsible digital citizen in an age of misinformation and disinformation out there. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out. It's a really good one. I think you'll like it. So that's all I had to say about that.
That's all I have to say about that.
If this is your first time joining me for one of these conspiracy theories reaction videos, then welcome. Thank you for being here. Fair warning, I am not a yes man for these conspiracy theories. I do try to debunk or prove or look up some information about them aside from just blindly believing anything that's on a TikTok. So, if you're looking for a yes man for your conspiracy theory beliefs, or for me to contribute to your confirmation bias, I promise you're not going to find that here. But if you want to take a realistic look at what's really going on in this world, then stick around. We always have a good time. All right, without further ado, let's jump right in.
1482, Leonardo da Vinci was commissioned to paint a painting of Christ and the 12 disciples. This was 1482, 10 years before Columbus set sail, because that painting would be the greatest weapon used in colonialism, and still is right now, because many black people around the world still have that original Last Supper. And so when Leonardo was asked to paint that picture, he got his uncle to actually sit in, and this is an historic record. He got his uncle to sit in and pose as Christ, and he got 12 criminals from a local jail who happened to be available to sit in as the 12 disciples.
15th century painting of the Last Supper in Russia. That's weird. I like Dr. Umar, even though he probably wouldn't like me. I think he's a funny dude. I agree with some of the things he says. I also think he's a little bit of a sensationalist. I think he says things that he knows is going to get a reaction. Yeah, I mean, I think I've said on this channel before, I think it probably makes sense that Jesus was black. Like, I don't think that's that wild of a theory, but I don't think an artist's rendition of the Last Supper is testament to that. I mean, he said the 15th century, so that's the 1400s. That's also when the Leonardo's Last Supper was painted. And yeah, maybe that story is true. Maybe he did get his uncle or something to sit in for Jesus. But if that's true, how does Dr. Umar know that? Why does he have this secret information? I mean, that painting is real. There is definitely a Russian painting, I'm looking at it right now, that depicts everyone as black sitting around the table. And I guess it is in the Annunciation Cathedral in Moscow. So the painting exists, but at the end of the day, aren't we not supposed to be worshiping images or idols? So does a painting matter? And let's say it does matter. The guy from 1400 years after Jesus died was the one who knew the secret that Jesus was black. I don't know, it just seems strange to me. And furthermore, at the end of the day, we all come from the same creator or source or whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe in. Pretty much all the religions say we all come from the same place, right? So, I don't know. Yeah, maybe he's onto something. Maybe that painting in Russia that a guy did 1500 years after Jesus died is irrefutable proof. Or maybe Dr. Umar is just saying something sensationalist and something that he knows is going to get a reaction.
But then he slowed it way down. And it was so slow that you could almost see the air moving. Then you saw the driver take a gun and go like this and shoot Kennedy, and the bullet comes out of the gun this slow, very, very, very slow, and it hits Kennedy in the head, and you see everything flying out of his head. I'm thinking, this isn't the tape I ever saw before. So I said, is this a doctored tape? What's this about? And he said, this is the original one. And I said, no, And he said, well, I'm going to show you the one that you've seen on the media. Now, the next tape is your typical one where the driver just keeps driving, never even flinches with the gun. And he stops the tape. And he says, look at the tree. And there's the top of a tree growing in air. And he says, this is the one that you're seeing on the media. And it's been doctored. He looked very, very intently at me and he said, nothing is as it appears to be.
That I believe. Currently, just as I suspected, I don't know, I would like to know what this documentary is from, or what this was, so I could go look into it more. But my first thought, when I saw that tree floating there, let's go to the floating tree. All right, so my first thought when she said that was, that looks not like a tree floating. that looks like a tree behind a wall. If you've been a longtime viewer of this channel, you know I have been to this exact location. I've stood on the X where it happened. All right, look, this is the floating tree she's talking about. All right, floating tree back in the back. Looks like it's kind of floating there, right? All right, now let's talk about it. So this was me. This is a photo of me at Dealey Plaza. What's it called? Dealey Plaza. This is a video of me at the exact location where this tragic incident occurred. Now, what you may notice, there in the background just so happens to be a floating tree. Oh my God. No, it's a freaking tree behind a wall. And if you need further proof, boom, boom, here's just a random picture I pulled off of the internet. What's that back there? What's that look like? What does that look like? Y'all see why you can't just listen to everything you see online. That's the exact, I can see the holes in the wall. I can see everything. That is the exact, it's not the exact tree. It's the one to the left here, I believe. But it's behind a wall. Like, look, I'm not saying that the JFK thing, like that this was all, there was no weird stuff going on. I fully believe there was a conspiracy here. And I think the CIA took out JFK. But to act like I cannot stand when people present stuff as factual when it's very easily verifiable. Like, this woman's going to talk about some, I saw the real tape. No, you didn't. Shut up. God, it's so frustrating. Like, do I believe Oswald did it? I don't know. Maybe the CIA used him as a patsy. But, oh, there's a floating tree. No, there's not. Use your brain, people.
I shine and no one else shines. I think everybody shines in different things. And a lot of things I can't do. I can't play basketball like every other black person in America. But I can act. I know how to go to that true spot in myself because I'm there every day. I can be me. I can be whoever because I'm true to me. I can go to neutral easily. A lot of people, black, white, Mexican, young or old, fat or skinny, have a problem being true to themselves. They have a problem looking in the mirror and looking directly into their own souls. The reason I sell 6 million records, the reason I can go to jail and come out without a scratch, the reason I can walk around, the reason I am who I am today is because I can look directly into my face and find my soul. It's there. It's not sold. I didn't sell it. It's still within me. I still feel it. My heart is still connected to my body.
I mean, not really a conspiracy here, but, you know, plenty around Tupac. I love Tupac, man. I think he was one of the greatest voices of a generation. And, you know, unfortunately, he's no longer with us. Or maybe he's in Cuba. I don't know. Yeah, he's making good points, as per usual. This is a fun fact. Biggie Smalls wasn't cockeyed. He just knew he had to keep one eye on Diddy at all times. What you doing over there, brother love? I got one eye on you. It's so funny. Look at that old bag of Doritos. That's kind of cool. Yeah, and then Diddy allegedly had him taken out.
No. In the heat of controversy, he don't miss. No.
7th grade.
7th grade.
Right now I'm just basketball, playing guard on the JV team for my school.
How's about in school? How y'all doing in school? You should tell the president about the school.
Favorite thing about it is the business academy I'm in. You get to like travel, so we've been to like NC State, Wake Tech, and
You're kidding me.
we went to this small job.
Are you kidding me? Black people are educated? That's what he's saying. You kidding me? Oh, I'm shocked.
Small dry cleaning business, and it's cool. It's a great experience.
I'm impressed. Is that a new program at the school?
Yes, sir, it is. It just started just a couple of years ago.
You know how much this guy loves you. You just feel it, can't you?
Yes, sir.
Your dad jumped in front of a bull for you. By the way, we dads are hard to raise. Once you're a teenager, we're hard to raise. So you gotta be patient with us, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
A little patient.
7th.
Oh. Why is it that every time I mean, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't even speak on this, but it seems silly to me to pretend that the only people in the world supporting fried chicken are black people. I love fried chicken. Are you kidding me? It's delicious. I don't fully understand how that stereotype got started. I mean, I'm sure there's a history to it, but yeah, I don't really. Everybody loves. Who doesn't love fried chicken? This dude is funny though. And to be fair, he might be right. That might be why Joe Biden was so surprised. He comes from that old school, man. That old school. Wow, an educated black. Listen here, Jack. You go to school and you flip burgers on a Tuesday. I can't do a Biden impression. Hard to dumb myself down that much.
All right, Tyrese, walk us through the nails too, man, the holiday.
You know what I'm saying? So we just went through the red green. The person who's doing my nails said they could do a design, so they actually told me, they showed me a Christmas tree with some ornaments, so I decided to get some ornaments on it for Christmas.
Nice.
I know a lot of people don't like that, but man, just gotta.
I will never understand why people care so much about what other people are doing if it's not bothering you, if it's not harming you in any way, shape, or form. Who cares if a dude paints his nails? The only reason that that's a women thing is because society has deemed it as such. If they had never been like, oh yeah, that's a woman thing. And honestly, the reason why is because women didn't used to work and men were working hard labor jobs, so they couldn't paint their nails. I think it's dope when when guys paint their nails. I don't really give a shit. I think we should buck all those societal norms of like what's for women and what's for men. Who cares? Who cares? It's all made up. All the identity and like whether something is for men or women, that's literally made up. So who cares? Let people paint their nails. Let people do what they want. It's not bothering you and they're not forcing their life on you. Who cares? The dude's he's not telling you to go paint your nails. Why are you so bothered by it? All right, I really want to go to this second video, but I'm going to do this one for one of my followers who's asked us to cover thalassophobia. Oh, there's no sound. The Grand Trunk, Pacific Ocean. Dang. I feel like we often forget that half of the earth, like the other side of the earth, is just water. Rolling abyss. Storm is coming. Whoa. Iceberg from underneath. Riding the worm of the ocean? Oh, hell no. Nice kid. How big the universe really is. I think they got a good camera on that thing. These always trip me out. It is wild how I like the similarities between stars and star formations and galaxies and things inside of our body that look like a nucleus. The original cluster that we're in looked kind of like two cells splitting. That looks like a web of DNA or something. Like, oh, that's such a trip.
He buried his cat, but he came back. A man named Will uploaded a video explaining how his cat Otis was just buried a day ago.
You're not gonna believe this, but we buried this guy like a day ago. But guess what?
The cat mysteriously came back to life.
Yeah, I know, buddy. I see you. I'm surprised you're still up and walking around. Hi.
After this, viewers were left puzzled by what exactly is going on with Otis. Will explains that him and his friends would always say how Otis was dead as a joke, since he would always go missing for days at a time.
Oh, geez, this is gonna be fun. So the video itself was an old video from last year that I recorded. And we have this long-running joke about Otis, which is his name. He always seems like he dies and just disappears and then comes back. So no one buried the cat, actually. He's just him, and he does what he does. So there you go. Otis is not dead. Otis is not a zombie cat, and no one buried him. Hope you guys have a good day.
So he lied, is to go viral. That's what I'm getting. Is that what I'm understanding? The cat was never buried. It was just an old video, and he said that he. Another example why you cannot trust stuff you see on the internet. I don't know why I keep looking over here. Sorry, I'm trying to look at y'all. Would you live here for $250 a month?
Oh, shit.
Bro is running through there. What is this, like, the back rooms or something? Where is this
I'm
dude?
here.
Why wouldn't you live there? I mean, aside from the lack of electricity and the creepy sounding door, I don't know. I think I would get a lantern and figure it out. Seemed like he had electricity in his room. Just run some lights throughout that place. It won't be so creepy. Yeah. $250 a month, bro? Yeah. We're gonna make it work. Alright, we're gonna watch this, but I'm gonna go ahead and guess that this is a little far-fetched.
The Earth could be much bigger than we thought. And you know what's really disturbing? I'll reveal it at the end. In recent years, there has been discussion about the Earth's actual shape, with some questioning whether it is spherical or flat. While some have suggested potential conspiracy theories exist, it's hypothesized that Earth could be much larger than we realize. The idea that only 7 continents exist seems limited. One proposal suggests Antarctica is actually a giant icy barrier hiding additional continents beyond. Hypothetically, if someone could traverse this frozen wall, they may discover 20 secret continents previously unknown. These mysterious lands have sparked ideas about prehistoric creatures, aliens, and advanced civilizations living there. Interestingly, one concept proposes the 7 continents we inhabit now are like a vast corporate farm owned and controlled by a small group of extremely wealthy families. These elites could originate from the enigmatic undiscovered continents. So, these are 2 very disturbing questions. Why do you think exploring Antarctica was banned? And do you know the truth that there is no real picture of the Earth? Every picture that's been released on Google or released from NASA is a 3D render.
Well, it is true that there's only been like 2 actual photos of the entire Earth. Most of the satellite images and stuff we see are indeed photo renderings. But that's because the Earth is so big. I mean, look, you're not going to find any definitive information. If the Earth is flat and they're hiding it and they've got this big conspiracy with all the scientists all around the world and every astronomer and every person that has any slight interest in the topic, they're able to control all of them. And also, I mean, I've done very little research, and you can, like, there's always this, they always say you can't, you're not allowed to go to Antarctica. That's not true. Everything I've read online says you can absolutely book a vacation to Antarctica, but there are certain spots you can't go because they're like scientific areas. One of the comments says you can go to Antarctica legally, and many people have done it. Yeah, Mr. Beast did it. I mean, so funny how people just move the goalposts. Somebody responded and said, only to specific places in Antarctica, usually close to the shore. And then the original guy said, you can literally go to any part of it. People have done it before. And then Tanya here jumps in and says, that's incorrect. You can research if you take the time. There are absolutely many places in Antarctica you can't travel. And then the original guy said, did my research and found nothing to deny it. It only says that you can go to any part legally from any country except for the parts where scientific, which is the same thing I found when looking into this, where scientific missions are being held. And if you become an elite scientist, you can explore and go to any part. But then all of a sudden, Tanya says, well, if you do visit, they assign you a guide, and the guide keeps you away from certain areas. You absolutely cannot go anywhere without a guide. And if you suddenly become an elite scientist, and I am not aware of their restrictions, however, I don't see that happening for the normal traveler. Then he responded again and says, the original guy, it says that you can go anywhere, but you have to follow the guidelines, like respecting scientific research. Makes sense. I just love how everyone's an expert. Like, I don't know. I only know what I've read online. Whether you can trust that or not, I don't know. But there's a lot of people that have been to Antarctica. I guess we could go ask one of them. I'm going to go to Antarctica someday. I'm going to prove it to y'all.
The Mariana Trench is no longer the deepest part of our ocean, and there are creatures that we did not know exist. Just a week ago, a group of New Zealand scientists had created a new radar capable of penetrating the ground and mapping out the floor beneath. They began using this technology on the coastal areas of the country as Zealand used to be the 8th continent, in hopes of discovering something that has been lost to us. Just 4 days ago, they had stumbled upon something unusual. They had used the radar on the west coast near a mountain system, but oddly, the radar did not detect any land after 40 meters down. A team then began excavating the area, and they found the impossible. There was a massive ocean that seemed to have no ending. The scientists got 2 submarines ready and descended down. They could not believe it. Species of fish were all around them which do not exist in any other body of water. After 3 hours of descending, there was still no sign of the floor, and this is when they had realized they stumbled upon something straight out of a movie. Suddenly, a massive 70-foot shark appeared out of nowhere and began circling the submarine. In total disbelief, they took pictures of this creature and called the team above to bring them up. They now believe that the megalodon has been here on Earth all this time. If you want to see the pictures, comment, view images.
I love the call to action there at the end. You want to see the pictures? Comment, view images. Of course, you got people in there. View images. First of all, the Mariana Trench is like 7.5 miles deep. There is no man-made vessel that could survive going to the bottom of the Mariana Trench currently. Second of all, don't you think we would have seen these pictures by now if there was a megalodon? Which is what he was trying to say, because it's a stupid AI voice. He said it wrong. Megalodon. Makes my eye twitch. Oh, God, it's so stupid. The megalodon might be in the ocean out there somewhere. I'll give you that. We don't have proof of it. That's what I'm going to go with. I don't believe there's proof of that. I don't believe that anyone has taken a vessel to the bottom of the Mariana Trench. Let's Google it. Okay, well, I stand corrected. We have gone to the bottom of the Mariana Trench in a manned vessel. It happened in 2019, I believe. And a guy did go down and explored the bottom of the Mariana Trench for 4 hours, I think it said. 4 hours. Spent 4 hours exploring the bottom of the trench with the risk of his submersible imploding if anything were to go wrong. Okay, so hey, I'm wrong there. But, funnily enough, nothing in that video that I just watched about that guy seeing a megalodon. Funny how that works. Overall, I feel like once you hear that voice, that stupid AI voice start, you probably know it's a load of crap. Pretty safe bet.
Everyone knows about Epstein Island, but have you heard about Rothschild's Island?
I don't even know who that is.
The Rothschilds are like the most mainstream name when it comes to the Illuminati. Like, everybody knows about them. But yeah, they bought an island off the coast of Antarctica. Why would you want an island in Antarctica?
Why would anyone go to Antarctica?
I think there could be like secret tunnels they have built in under there.
Your go-to is always secret tunnels.
There's no other reason for them to have an island.
Penguins?
Okay, so I don't think it's actually owned by the Rothschilds. It was named by for the Rothschilds. It says the island was first sighted in 1825 by Fabian Gottlieb von Bellinghausen, who described 3 peaks. It was also seen by the French Antarctic expedition in 1908 to 1910 and named Rothschild Island, Isle de Rothschild, by Jean-Baptiste Charcot, who was a French scientist, medical doctor, and polar scientist, in honor of Edouard Alphonse James de Rothschild, who is, head of the Rothschild banking family of France and president of de Rothschild Ferrer. I don't know. But as far as I know, nobody owns any part of Antarctica because of the Antarctica Treaty. It's funny how a lot of these fall apart with 2 minutes of research. It's not a Rothschild island. If they, let's think about this for a second. If the Rothschild had an island, or any famous family, if anybody had an island where they wanted to do a bunch of nefarious deeds, do you think they would just name it after themselves? Like, Epstein's Island wasn't called Epstein's Island, it was called Little St. James. It's like, man, I wish people would think. This is the problem with everyone getting their conspiracy theories and information from TikTok. Anybody can post whatever they want. There are 0 repercussions for lying. There's incentive to be sensationalist and to say this wild stuff, because then everybody's gonna be like, oh my gosh, did you know this? I didn't know this. Because most people, clearly, as this has 1,616 comments and 227,000 likes, obviously nobody's gonna go look into it. They're just gonna believe you. Oh wow, he opened it up with Epstein Island? Oh, that must be true about the Somebody commented and said, they have their own government, police, and no rules there. Only kings and presidents are invited there. Literally none of this is true. My question is, who sold it? Who owned the island before them? That is a very good question. At least this person had like a little bit of critical thought for a second. I thought no one owned Antarctica. ... Interesting. Yeah, it is interesting because it's completely fabricated and made up story. And somebody said countries split up and they don't own Antarctica. They own property. They do own Antarctica. They own literally the entire planet. You do realize most conspiracies have turned out true, right? Goes to show you how much you know. This person said, name one of these crazy conspiracies that turned out true. And then he responded again, do your research. Clearly you don't know anything, so why even comment on this post? Oh, Dylan. You sound like an idiot. You want me to make you look stupid by letting you know what conspiracies have come true rather than doing some research yourself. Listen, sometimes you'll see little memes or something that say like, conspiracy theorist 15, non-conspiracy theorist 0, like we're keeping score. First of all, stupid. Second of all, the reason it's a 0 is because a lot of these will never be proven right or wrong because there is no factual basis to go off of to prove it either way. Yes, some conspiracy theories turn out to be true. Watergate, MKUltra, COINTELPRO. You know, there's a lot of conspiracies that turn out to be true. But to act like, oh, well, these have never been proven wrong, so obviously they must be true too. It's like, no, we can't prove it wrong because every time you're presented with evidence of why it's wrong, you come up with another crazy excuse as to why that's not actually effective in the argument. Cognitive dissonance, dude. It's just like people find themselves trapped in these like loopholes of information where they're getting the same crap and they're reinforcing their beliefs. And I beg you people. I feel like most of the people that watch my channel are pretty open-minded and they don't just fall into anything and believing anything that they see. But I'm begging others out there to please just do a little bit of research into some of these. You'll see how ridiculous they are.
This is a conspiracy theory. I'm going to admit that straight up. But at this point, I am convinced that the Democratic Party does not want to win the 2024 presidential election. Not because they're losers, but because in some cases, losing is actually winning. Okay, so at this point, they've already canceled primary elections in 4 states: Tennessee, North Carolina, Massachusetts, and Florida. So not only are they deliberately disenfranchising their voters, but their anointed candidate, Joe Biden, has the lowest approval rating of pretty much any candidate in modern history. It's hard to make a case that this is a winning formula. Now the question is, why wouldn't they want to win? How does that make any sense? Well, the most important thing that we have to understand is that the Democratic Party is not a public service organization. It is, first and foremost, a private corporation. And the job of any corporation, as we know, is to make money. But it's hard for them to make money when they govern because, and this is the huge conundrum for the Democratic Party always, is that part of their party platform, in theory, is supposed to be anti-corporate. Now, don't get me wrong, the Republican Party also only cares about money, but they do so more honestly because that is their party ethos. Cut taxes, deregulate, become a billionaire. That's the American dream. And if you can't achieve it, it's got nothing to do with systemic injustice. It's 100% your fault. Now, back to the money part. It just so happens that Trump is a fund-raising machine for the Democrats. Nobody ever talks about this, but just look at how much money the Democrats raised in 2020 versus 2016, nearly triple, and look at Republicans, pretty much the same. And of course, who is about to be president if Joe loses? Hence, Joe Biden for president. Take it or leave it, we don't care. They say losing, in the case of the Democratic Party, can actually mean winning.
Bernadine Dorn, this went through kind of quick and I couldn't catch, I'm confused as to how the DNC is a corporation, but I mean, I could believe it, but I would like to know why he said that. Bernadine Dorn, herself an SDS leader and subsequently with the Weather Underground, comments that the open letter has all the wrong content and tone of the elders lecturing young activists. It is finally too pompous and pretentious, too in bed with the Democratic Party. And that is a sympathetic comment to comrades I love and respect. Democratic Party is not like a labor union or like what a labor union is supposed to be, with dues-paying members democratically electing leadership that serves their interest. Rather, the Democratic National Committee, which is a governing body of the U.S. Democratic Party, is in fact a private corporation. Okay. Yeah, but that's not... The Democratic National Committee isn't the Democratic Party as a whole. It is... Yeah, I guess it's the governing body of the U.S. Democratic Party. Look, y'all know I don't like getting into politics. I think politics are stupid. I think it's all a scam. I think it's just stuff to keep us fighting with each other so that we're not paying attention to what they're doing. It's theater. It's theater on the grandest stage, and it does exactly what it's meant to do. Yeah, the Democrats are evil. So are the Republicans. Hey, all they care about is their own self-interests. They could not give a shit about you or me. I promise you. And anybody that goes into politics with good intentions that does care about the populace ends up having to bend to the will of the game. Look at AOC. You know, she seemed like she had the, whether you agree with her politics or not, she seemed like she was really trying to be for the people and by the people. And then she gets in there, nothing. But I have had many private conversations about what are the Democrats doing? Nobody likes Joe Biden. Why are they running this old fart that can't form a sentence again? It could be that they make too much money. I will say for sure, I've gotten a lot less of those please send us some money emails from the Democrats ever since Joe Biden got elected. And when Trump was in office, it was send us $5. Nancy Pelosi needs your $5. She can't sell her mansions and use that money. She wants your money. But I digress.
So y'all know how Walmart's been mysteriously closing. This is an abandoned Walmart. Now, so y'all know how Walmart's been mysteriously closing. This is an abandoned Walmart. Now, what does this look like to y'all? This is an abandoned Walmart, a closed down Walmart.
That's the garden center.
What does it look like?
The garden center. One of the comments says, I don't know, this could be a reach, but it kind of looks like an abandoned Walmart. This one says, when you realize CNN knew exactly what Q was in 2013.
NSA's Security and Counterintelligence Directorate, also known as the Q Group, is the agency's internal police force.
They're basically the cops or the police of the NSA. Their main job is to make sure that, their many analysts and officers and program managers are not targeted by foreign intelligence services.
All of the three-letter agencies are nothing more than, in my opinion, allegedly, and whatever else I need to say to preface this, but all of the three-letter agencies are nothing but misinformation systems and misinformation organizations. Edward Snowden tried to warn us. Nobody listened. We let him be exiled. That was an American hero. I believe, personally, that QAnon was a psyop. I think the NSA, CIA, I think they're behind most of that. And I think that's why every conspiracy theory falls under the umbrella of Q. We proved with my video on Sunday that the CIA did not create the term conspiracy theory, but it is absolutely possible that they weaponized that term so that anyone who believed a conspiracy might happen would just be labeled as crazy. Remember back in the day? If you believed in aliens, you were considered a conspiracy theorist. And I think they learned exactly what they needed to do to make that happen. But conspiracy theorists have been right from time to time. So, yeah, and now, if you're a Q believer, most people automatically think you're crazy. But let me tell you, there's a few of those conspiracies that fall under the Q beliefs that, at least personally, I believe are absolutely true. The trafficking, the shadow government, I think those are real things. And I think that if it was a controlled campaign, the entire QAnon thing, I think it might have started out as like a kind of a joke type of thing. And then the CIA and the NSA got their hands on it. That's what I think, truthfully. But then once they got their hands on it, they started throwing everything under the sun into the belief system of the Q conspiracy. And it made it seem batshit crazy. Because a lot of it is to be honest. But that doesn't mean that some of the stuff they're saying isn't true. I was never a Q believer by any means, but I thought that pretty much from the beginning, that this feels like a psyop. They want us to feel a certain way about this group of people. That way, everything that they say sounds crazy because of some of the other things they say. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking into it too much, but you can't admit that that's at least a possibility, then, I don't know, look into the history of the CIA, I guess. There you have it, folks. That is another episode of some of the wildest TikTok conspiracy theories I can find. Hope you learned a little something today. Hope you maybe got a laugh or two in. I know some of these topics are not very laughable, but, hopefully we had some fun. Yeah, if you missed my Conspiracy Theories 101 video, go back and check that out. I will link it right over here or something. It might be on the side, I forget. But yeah, check that out. It's a really good one. We do talk about the history of the conspiracy theory, the term, how it's been used. We talk about a handful of conspiracy theories that have happened throughout history. And we do a deep dive into a few actual real conspiracies that we know for sure happened. In the future, I will probably do other ones that, we may not have as much evidence for, but seem likely. We might do some that completely seem fake to me. You know, like a lot of these. I feel like I research them for a couple minutes and all of a sudden they don't really hold up anymore. So yeah, it's a fun series. I feel like you'll like it. The final part, it's only a couple minutes, but we do talk about ways to be a responsible digital citizen and not just believe everything you see on the internet. Believe half of what you see and none of what you hear, right? But anymore, it's getting harder to even do that. Thanks for tuning in. Merch shop is live. Gemini Jonny hats are in there. We got Gem Crew shirts. We got tie-dye beanies. We got hoodies, sweaters. I don't know, some other stuff in there. Stickers. You guys know how to find it. It's right below this video, I believe. If you have any conspiracies you would like to see me cover in the future, send them my way. Let me know. Comment on this video and let me know what you'd like to see me cover or do a deep dive on, and I'll probably get to it at some point. Those videos do take a lot of time. It's a lot of research that goes into those because I don't like to present things without doing thorough research and figuring out what I'm looking at and how I want to present it. So you know, it's not as if I'm just coming up with stuff off the top of my head. These are heavily researched topics, and I can promise you I will never be one of these people that just posts some asinine stuff for the clicks or the views, because I don't care that much. There's an old I forget what song it's from. There's a lyric in a song that says, I'd rather be hated for what I am than loved for what I'm not. Facts. I would much rather be disliked by a certain portion of the conspiracy theory community for presenting factual information than I would want to be loved by all of them for presenting stuff that's, I can't say is factual. So, you know, that's the kind of mindset you take into conspiracy theories and all this kind of stuff, then I think that's a healthy way to be. And subscribe, and maybe we'll learn some stuff together. Don't forget to drop a like before you get out of here. Like I said, leave me a comment. Let me know about a conspiracy theory you would like to see me do a deep dive on. And until next time, seek the truth.